Hello, 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 and welcome to Panels. Imagine the view if they did not talk about political stuff and instead talk about stuff you want to hear about. Comic books and all things geeky and nerdy. Because we all need to escape, especially now. I am your host, at least one of them anyway, Chris, and
Paul.
here to discuss what is going on with comic books right now. In which the biggest hot topic going on right now is COVID. And how does it affect comic books? Now, I do understand that comics is kind of low on the totem pole as far as everything else is concerned, where COVID is concerned, but
I disagree. I disagree. I need my comics right now more than I ever have before.
right. And Paul and I are very fortunate that our job is still open and we can still work so we can continue collecting. So definitely our hearts and thoughts go out to those of you who are not in that position. Hopefully that will change for you soon. But comics and COVID, this is kind of like the big crossover event that nobody wanted. So how are you? Here's the question I'm going to throw out. How are you dealing with COVID-19, the corona or Rona as we refer to it? How is Rona affecting your comic book collecting?
I personally have branched out like I have never before. I'm with fewer titles coming out on a weekly basis. I'm buying things I did not buy before, so I'm trying new things. And I'm also going back and buying some of the things that I either used to have or I was wanting to read when I was younger, um, to fill the void of some of the things that are no longer coming, or have been delayed or um, not been coming out as frequent as they did pre-COVID. What about you?
Me, I have been well, I had a hit list. Every year around tax time, I always try to go back and get back issues of all of the series that I collect, which is a lot. So without any new comics coming out for a period of time, it was me really working on that hit list and closing the gaps in my collection, in which I'm sitting on the collection of my dreams right now because I have whole runs of series that I never thought I would be able to get entire runs of. I can start with issue one and go all the way to the end and pick up the next volume, issue one, and go to the end. And of course, with everybody doing a new number one every 1 to 2 years, I have a whole bunch of volumes of things. So I've basically been filling the gaps. I have found them rather cheaply, if I may say so myself, which helped with closing up those gaps very quickly. And if anything happens and they have to shut down again, trust me, I have plenty of back stock that I have compiled over the last few months that I can take a break from the new stuff, whether I want to or not, and just continue reading.
Yeah, I will say that on top of uh, going to our local shops, um, I've and through some of your recommendations, I've found um, stores online that I hadn't looked at before, and there are certainly deals to be had. Um, the shipping takes a little bit longer than it used to, but hey, that's understood.
Yeah, that's another hot topic we're gonna cover. This shipping stuff. I still haven't received one of my boxes yet. But anyway,
it's it's going to be like that for a while, I think. Even if even whenever uh, the future is, we just don't know. But regardless, shipping delays, I think it's unavoidable for the near future. It just is what it is. Just gotta roll with
translation, he's more patient than I am.
it.
I am not that patient. Don't give me a
I
tracking
don't know
number
if
and
it's that.
access to track something if it's still in transit. I do not have access to Krakoa. I cannot text Iana and say, hey, it's in limbo. Can you go get one of the little demons to fetch it for me? Just saying. But outside of it, really the shipping thing hasn't been a big issue until recently. Because during the big shutdown of everything, it took 2 days for priority mail. So I got kind of spoiled. Now it's kind of like, and for the most part, most of the people I get orders from are still shipping pretty decently. There may be one or two that, it's like, hey, it's in limbo. Get one of your demons to go fetch for me. But that's neither here nor there. It's still coming. Like I said, Paul is more patient. I am not.
Am I though? 'Cause sometimes I'll place my order and I see it's not anywhere near me, and I will go to the local shop and buy a variant of that just so I can read it, because but I'm keeping that to some of the the hot series like Batman, Death Metal, Empire.
It does not help when I come into work, which, by the way, we are co-workers. It doesn't help that I come in and go, oh, I got this. And his is still somewhere in transit. Somewhere. Not over the rainbow, because we don't even know where the rainbow is.
It's true. That puts the seed in my mind. They're like, ooh, I need to go rectify this situation ASAP.
So we are very interested to know how you are coping with COVID, the shutdowns, the not being able to get your books, how you're getting your books. So comment in the comments below and let us know so we can feature you in the next episode of Panels, because this is going to be a regular thing. We're going to get on here and talk whatever we want to talk about. But we would like to get your input as well and let you join in as a panel. As I said at the beginning, it's going to be the view except geeky. And it's just two of us right now. Perch, we're calling you out. Paul recommended your channel. I've been watching some of your videos. We need you to be co-host number 3. Hit us up. We're around. Hit us up in the comments below.
That's a real good point you have right there that I want to hit on. In addition to, when I say I was branching out, also, with the material I read, the books I read, I'm also branching out in some of the other forms of comics. I'm hitting up YouTube and checking out all these really good channels that have really good content. I've learned in the last couple of months, I have been thoroughly entertained. I've gotten upset over some people's ignorant views.
They are entitled to their opinion, yeah, exactly, just like we are.
They certainly are.
Just wait till we start reviewing stuff. You're gonna call us an idiot too. Just wait.
Yes. But I've just learned so many different things about just all new writers and artists that I hadn't checked out before, and just all the above. There's just a treasure trove of content on places like YouTube.
Perch, hit us up. Co-host number 3. We need a Sunny Houston, and if you ever watch any of his videos, you walk away from it being well informed, entertained, and it leaves you with more questions. Some of them do.
Uplifted.
There's hope. There's somebody out there that has as much passion as we do. We know you're out there.
That is when you talk about Perch's channel, that actually is one of the main things I walk away with. I feel a sense of hope. I think there are a lot of lot of people that think are feel the comic industry is in worse shape than it's ever been. Uh, I feel like there's certainly uh, areas that are concerning and troubling, but I feel hope. I'm hopeful for the future, and that's at the end of the day the reason my number one reason for reading comics and just getting into all the associated things that comics involve um, is hope. Um, my favorite stories are the ones that have that glimmer of hope, um, and it's a beautiful thing.
Which is going to be one of our hot topics in a later show. What you just touched on kind of reminded me of 9/11, which I worked like a late shift. So I will be up all night and then sleep all morning, half the day, and then get up, wash, rinse, repeat. But phone was blowing up. Everybody's like, you should turn on the TV, and it's like, why? And then just to see that unfold, when I don't know about you guys, but for me, my brain instantly went to when I saw the image of the towers falling. It instantly went to, okay, Superman is about to fly in and catch this. When that did not happen, the brain just kind of short circuited. It was like, wait a minute, this cannot be happening. So again, a hot topic for a later date. We thinking about that too, how comics is escapism and it brings hope. So comment on the comments below. Let us know how you guys feel about that as well. Because with Google alerts reminding you just about every hour on the hour that both Marvel and DC are laying people off and canceling everything known to man. Ooh, it's been a long week.
It has.
My pull list has been devastated by all of these
I
cancellations.
think it's you can't when you see those stories flash up to the top of your feed, you can't help but feel at least a little bit of panic. But I after some of the dust has cleared a little bit, I've taken a step back and maybe I don't know, maybe I'm delusional, but I think um, especially with DC, this was going to happen anyway. This was already planned with a lot of these titles um, being cancel. Maybe cancel is not the right word they're using for some of them, because they're going to be starting up. Those a lot of the characters, they're not just going away. They're not. They're going into a new phase, whatever that it's going to be. It was going to be, they had the whole 5G event that they were planning that, for the most part, got scrapped. I think pieces of it are still in place.
See, Jesus fixed it.
But and it's as much as I don't want to see some of these series go away. There are some really good things that are going on right now. Some really hot series, some really enjoyable series that are just really really good. Um, Batman Batman's on fire right now. Uh, Joker War is it's been good. It's been just outstanding. The writing, um, Tinian, I didn't want to see him go from Justice League Dark, another really good series. But what he's done in just a few issues of Batman already, I'd rather have him on Batman.
I say he can do both. Put Batman on Justice League Dark. There.
You
That might
think
cause some issues with Diana, but drama. Here for it.
you think Justice League Dark is in its I haven't seen any announcements on that. Do you think
I hope not.
you think it's
But I've already lost Ghost Rider and Doctor Strange, so
right?
I'm just
Right.
waiting for Strange Academy to get the axe.
Yeah.
I wonder why they did not just postpone, because I know Runaways is postponed until next year. I think that would have been a better pill to swallow than just canceling it. And it's like, because like I said, Doctor Strange and Ghost Rider were both fantastic. Um, what
I
else got canceled?
um
Teen Titans.
Teen Titans.
Teen Titans, the writing was on the wall that they were going to end up wrapping up that whole storyline anyway. So you kind of got that feeling that Teen Titans was going to end, or they were going to bring the old Teen Titans back, maybe mingle them all together. Something was going to happen.
Yeah.
But you kind of got it that they were leaning, well, not leaning, just going towards the end on that one. Young Justice. Bendis in DC is a whole nother hot topic. There's a whole nother show. I don't know what happened when he went from Marvel to DC, but something happened. It ain't good. Sorry.
I feel part of it is his writing fits a certain type of book, and I don't feel Superman fits his style. But
Superman throwing shade.
feels like for a lot of writers,
Throwing planets around,
they're-
yeah, but shade, no.
when
That's Batman.
when you see some success, you kind of get that mentality of putting notches in your belt. And for a lot of them, writing for Superman is one of those big notches that that's huge on your resume, your bucket list, whatever you want to call it. But he's driven a lot of readers away from Superman, unfortunately. When you see top 10 lists of the bestsellers for the week, it's been a long, long time since I've seen any of the Superman books on that list, and they're typically part of the top 10. But maybe it's peaks and valleys. Maybe 10 years from now, we'll say, whoever comes in, steps in, takes place. Will there's nowhere to go but up, up and away, if you will.
There's also the Phantom Zone. And if you really want to go there, and this is where y'all can chime in below, this new Legion of Superheroes.
Not good.
What the what?
I wanted to like it. I was excited to see it come back.
I was excited to see all the diversity in the characters. I was
Yeah,
like, now here's some new spins on some old faces and names. Now ask me, out of how many issues we're on? 7, 8?
7.
Ask me what this is about. I can't tell you what it's about. I went back and tried to reread from issue 1. I got a headache. I had to stop and put it down. It's like, why? What is this? Ultimately, what I did was go back and reread Abnett and Lanning's Legion and Wade's Legion, which were awesome. And then I tried it again, got another headache, and just, I don't know. If you do know, please enlighten us, please.
Back to some of these cancellations. I feel like we're seeing at least an attempt to with the big two, DC and Marvel, an attempt to change the way they're doing things. And I feel like we're gonna go to, maybe with the exception of some of the bigger titles, Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, uh, and some of the bigger names from Marvel too. I think the mainstays, they're gonna have their ongoing series, but some of the smaller, more kind of niche market titles are going to go away for the most part, and we're going to see more miniseries, more events. Um,
Not more events.
I think that's the way it's headed. I think that's
All right, since you brought up that soapbox moment, this is why I'm fixing to preach, y'all. So get ready, because here comes the rant. I'm over events, over 'em. The latest events, Empire from Marvel and Death Metal from DC, have been surprisingly good. However, I'm going to start with Death Metal first. Why could it not have happened in the Justice League series itself? There was no plans for them to do a tie-in, crossover, whatever immediately after Scott Snyder wrapped up his run and Death Metal began. So why couldn't we have, what, issue 47, 46, 45, somewhere near, be Death Metal #1 and go on? Because Justice League 50, we'll cover that later. But why do we have to have a limited series about an event that could easily be in the book itself? Empire's the same way. You had 6 issues. That's 3 issues of Fantastic Four, 3 issues of Avengers. Work it out. Why do we have to have a separate series for this story? Sorry, I grew up in the 80s when they didn't do all these crossover events. What they did, but it happened. The Mutant Massacre happened in X-Men, X-Factor, and New Mutants, and it crossed over into Thor and Daredevil. Same thing with Inferno, same thing with Follow the Mutants, same thing when they killed Superman. It was not Death of Superman #1. It was Superman 75, right?
Yep.
Why do we need Empire #1 at Death Metal #1? Rant over. But if you want to continue to rant or have a different perspective, again, comment below. And once we get fully operational, because this is our first appearance and our first issue, first episode, debut, #1, it's going to be worth money. Get on it. We don't have all the kinks worked out, so we're just kind of winging it right now. But once we get the flowing and moving the way we want to move, and we do these little podcasts, and we go live, because we will go live, chime in. We want to put you up there with the rest of us so we can have a beautiful discussion, because these discussions need to be had. And if you're a professional and you want to chime in, please do. Be prepared for some truthful stuff. But we welcome all comments. Again, the view with comic books.
I have a comment, question. What with miniseries? I hear your take on that, and I agree to a point. I actually, something like Death Metal, that series I would prefer separate, just simply because of the beautiful covers. The Death Metal and the previous series with Metal, the covers are just, they're top notch. They, I mean, I can't help it. I'm a sucker for the foil, the embossed. I love it. I eat it up. I can't.
So you know what I'm about to say, right?
That's my point on some.
You know what I'm about to say, right?
Empire, I do agree, because those covers just don't do anything for me. And that's, I think that does fit. Keep that as Avengers, or whoever is the primary um, cast of characters. But how do you feel about just numbering? We've had a lot of series that are on volume 10 and some even further out than that. What do you like the legacy numbering? Do you I personally I don't like having 10 different number ones. I can compromise with like you see how Marvel does they have has their whatever volume number it is, and then it'll have legacy 750, whatever number it's on. I can handle that. At least okay. At least you're giving me, you're meeting me halfway. But I do like what Flash and Wonder Woman, for example, have done and gone back to after after their 750 issues, they've gone back to the legacy numbering. I hope they continue on with those. I would like to see some of the other series go back to that way as well. Action Comics, Detective Comics. I'd like to go to the just the legacy number. Uh, I I don't want a new number one. And I understand why they have these constant reboots. It's uh, they're looking for sales. I get it. Does it get me? Does it get you to buy a new number one any more than we normally would? I don't think so, but maybe a newer customer, someone just walking in, hey, like a mom or a dad walking into a shop saying, my son or my daughter having their birthday tomorrow. I want to get them a comic book. What's a good jumping in point? It can be nice to have for the shop to say, well, look, we've got this new number one of Iron Man. It's a good jumping in point. Uh, great, great to start your child out on that and keep going. But I prefer legacy number at the end of the day.
So here's the deal. My first, and this is going to tie into something else that we're going to get into in a minute or so, but my first issues of X-Men, Fantastic Four, Avengers, and Spider-Man was not a number one or two or three, 10. I'm old, but I'm not that old. My first issue of X-Men was Uncanny X-Men 171, Fantastic Four 258, Avengers 234, and Spider-Man, since I did not care about him, I don't really remember, but the last page had Venom on it, escaping the Baxter building. I remember that part. But that's where I picked up. And that's where the thrill of the hunt came into play. I understand accessibility and you wanted to have a new number one and start the series over, but for those of us who have been in the game for quite some time, or if you're on the Pokemon mentality of gotta catch them all, it's kind of hard to catch them all if every other year there's a new number one. And it goes to 20. We're lucky if we see an issue 25. And with the legacy numbering and the little ghost numbering on the cover, very smart and slick because you shut us up, those of us who are old OGs in the game, who is tired of number ones and twos and John size issue 12s. You added all of that stuff up and said, hey, if we had never stopped it, they would be on issue 700, 800, 900, 1,225. So you go with the new numbering up to that point, give us a massive 10, 12, 13, $15 comic book for the legacy number, and then you store the legacy number until the heat dies down, and then you cancel it, and then we have a fresh new Detective Comics number one. So I don't like it. because I grew up and was weaned and raised on OG standards, which if a new creative team came on a book, then there was a blurb on the cover, new creative team, which I like team books anyway, so that means there was a new roster for the team. So immediately, new roster for the team, all new lineup, the old order changeth, something like that. But we didn't get an issue number one because there was a new writer, a new artist, a new team. I mean, look at Carol Danvers' Captain Marvel. How many volumes she
I think
had?
that's one that's in the 10 plus. It might be 11. This one I think actually might be 11.
I have literally lost count. Now she had a Miss Marvel series in the mid 2000s that went up to 50. What was wrong with just continuing
11.
that?
The current
11,
volume 11.
11.
Yeah.
Come on now.
Hey, and
All for Brie Larson to get up there on screen and totally flush the character down the toilet. Sorry.
You don't care for the Captain Marvel movie?
That's a whole nother episode. We not
Agreed.
even going
Agreed.
there.
collective sigh.
Ooh.
Groan.
But yeah, why do we have to have a new number one? And what happened to annuals that actually mattered? When I was going back and getting all these old issues, case in point, Fantastic Four, Volume 1, I went all the way back and picked up from 300 to 350 something, 56. I was picking those issues up, and as I was reading them, what made me go back and buy even more was the fact that the story continued in the annual, and then the next issue was the next step after that annual. So if you missed the annual, you missed a bunch of stuff.
Some of the I think was it the most recent Nightwing annual that came out wasn't bad. It wasn't bad.
Did it matter?
It did, if I recall. I believe it's been a hot minute since I read it, but I believe it kind of led in from where they were at with Nightwing going into kind of a prelude to Joker War. But
you mean Rick Wing or Derek or Fred?
They need to fix him bad. I hope he gets fixed after Joker War.
I still can't believe that storyline's it's still going, but okay.
What you say about annuals, though, that's funny you say that, because I've been some of the things I've been going back to buy are some of the X-Men, I shouldn't say just X-Men, the X title annuals, because those were just from the 80s, late 80s, early 90s. I thought those were really good, and they actually all a lot of them connected, like the Uncanny X-Men annual, the X-Men annual, X-Force, X-Factor, and
they introduced new characters. They changed some things around.
Yeah.
It wasn't just throwaway.
Like the Shattershot, and what's one of the other ones?
The Executioner showed up in one.
Yeah.
Which I recently just got. Woohoo! Came with a card and everything, just like old school.
Oh yeah. But yeah, annuals. The current ones, a lot of them. I mean, you get a few extra pages, but I mean, is that extra dollar? Is it any more bang for your buck? Not really.
If they make it count. And I got off on that tangent about annuals because back to the whole legacy numbering and all that stuff, and why did they do it? For the accessibility and because number one, sale. If you have a problem moving your merchandise, how about putting your merchandise back in places where people are? When I was growing up, you're going to hear this a lot out of me. When I was growing up, You didn't have to just go to a comic book store. There was no comic book store in my neighborhood, in my town. What was that? That was some fantasy place.
Yeah.
But we had drugstores, we had grocery stores. Just about every
Yeah.
drugstore in town had a spinner rack. And if you were like me, had $2, $3, and you go in there and you spun that spinner rack around, you racked up, and you were incredibly lucky and happy if you could rack up 2 issues of Uncanny X-Men
Mhm.
or 2 issues of Alpha Flight.
I think they've tried various programs in the recent years, just with like Walmart and Target, um, and other stores. I know Walmart had like with DC had the 80-page giant size, which were actually really good because when you talk bang for your buck, those giant size, you're getting basically five five stories for $5. And the problem is that you go into Walmart, if they're usually in the checkout area, and they're lumped in with like the trading cards, the baseball, football cards, and that at least the WalMarts in our vicinity, those those sections, everyone I've seen is tore up to the point that it's an eyesore. And I don't know if I don't know who's what vendor is responsible for keeping that, or if it's the store's responsibility to keep those um, areas neat and organized. Whoever's responsible, they are failing big time. And so if you're I think they're going for impulse buys, but that impulse buy is not going to happen because, like I said, those sections are just tore up. And I feel like I've looked because I know they're going to be there because I'm keeping up to date with the news on that kind of stuff. I know they're supposed to be there, so if I want one, I'm going to go specifically there to try and find it. If I was there for like an impulse buy just happening to pass by, I wouldn't see it because, like I said, it's so messy that all you see is just clutter. Just it's all just tore up.
I have seen them, but guess when I have seen them? After I have stood up in line,
Right.
I'm ready to go home. I just so happen to glance in that direction because I see something colorful. And it's like, that looks like that is Batman. Oh, there they are.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm ready to go. I'm out of here.
Where do you think where's a better fit with their books, with their
magazine rack with all the other magazines. The best location is with all the other magazines. There was this grocery store back home that did not have a spinner rack, but they reserved right next to the crosswords and find the word searches and all that. They had 3 shelves dedicated to nothing but comics, and they kept them full. And I don't know who did that, but they did that because you know how they rotate them out.
Mm-hmm.
Well, if there were still some ones that were older, they moved them back a shelf and put all the new ones in front, and they just kept moving them back.
Yeah.
So if you were someone like me who did not go to the store, found yourself with some extra allowance money or earned money or whatever, then you can go to this store, go straight there and get a book or 2 or 3. You may end up with 3 or 4 issues of one title. On the flip side of that, our Walmart had the comic books. They were in the magazine section, but they figured there were more toys. So they moved them out of the magazine section and put them in the toy section. Can you imagine? Excited to get in Walmart to go get a copy of X-Men #1, and it is bent all the way over. It is like bent in two with pages sticking together. So I know Well, that was back then. Now maybe they get a little bit more respect, but a lot of people still see comic books as a kid thing. They shouldn't now, but they do. So if they do decide to go mainstream again, should we be prepared for them to end up back in the toy section all bent up and rolled and sticky pages? And what is this green thing? I think some, yeah, it's a bug. Are we ready for that? I think if they want sales, especially now, they really need to capitalize on all of the comic book TV shows and movies and everything, because nothing burnt me up more than scrolling through my Facebook feed and running across this article where this kid is like, there was an Iron Man comic book. I thought they just made it up for the movie. Are you serious? This kid really did not know that there was a comic book first. He was flabbergasted.
I think that's
Give the source
even
material respect, people.
even more so with a lot of some of the a lot of people have a lot of Netflix, Hulu, just all of the above. All the movie companies have really tried to capitalize, and just one for example, with a friend of mine, The Old Guard. Um, that's on Netflix. He didn't know that was he mentioned he had seen it and he really liked it, and I was like, oh yeah, that's from a comic book, and he's like, really? I didn't know that. So you have that kind of trickle down with the more prominent, like Iron Man. To us that's obvious, but it's trickled down to some of the smaller, because they are hunting down and looking for any of these. Um, they're just looking to capitalize on what's pocket superheroes and comic book material is just ripe for movies and TV right now. So they're just scouring
Could you
the
imagine? And maybe Marvel DC, if y'all are listening, check this out. You can have this for free. Imagine a new Black Panther movie. It came out. Now imagine they're getting ready to release the DVDs and Blu-rays, right? Imagine that big display in Walmart, Target, wherever, with the movies, the DVDs, the Blu-rays all sitting there, the 4D combo, whatever's, however they package it. And on the side, on these little wings, are either single issues of the Black Panther comic book or trade paperbacks, reasonably priced. Or you can have a combo pack where you get a Blu-ray and the first volume of Tanishi Coates' Black Panther, first 6 issues.
I think that's definitely something for cross promotion that I think certain store like a Barnes and Noble type kind of store when they although I don't think I've
Ain't
ever purchased
nobody
a
about to pay
DVD or
$40.
Blu-ray for
That's gonna
from
be a
Barnes and
hundred
Noble,
bucks.
but I mean they at least have their displays oftentimes
No offense,
synced
Barnes and
up.
Nobles, but y'all high. I'm on a budget.
But no, you hit on a
I
good
got to
thing
eat. I got to put gas in my car.
yeah. But and this can maybe bring up another hot topic. I think that's actually um, something to package in a digital copy with the movie. Package in a digital copy of volume one of the trade of this or that, or really if they would um, if it's Black Panther, for example, package um, digital copy of volume one of whichever Black Panther trade. Also package in whatever the next movie is. Hey, here's volume one of um, It's the New Mutants. That's the next package, and hey, here's volume one of New Mutants. This is coming out too. You know, but yeah. So when I say digital, um, that I think that's another incredibly hot topic right now. Digital versus physical.
No.
um, I feel, and I think it'll be even in our lifetime. Hopefully, much later in our lifetime.
Much later.
Much later. Hopefully, when
Okay,
I'm no
look.
longer able
Look at
to,
here.
to
You
see
got me
very
with
well.
music. You got me with the music, okay? I stopped buying CDs. I'm not giving up my DVDs, my Blu-rays, nor my paper comic books. Forget it. I need the object.
I, I number one, I prefer the physical format. I prefer my single issues, my floppies,
I need to
whatever
touch
you
it.
want to call it. I'd rather, if I can't have the floppy, the single physical copy, next priority for me is the graphic novel, the whatever collected edition. Um, and if it's something that's maybe out of my price range for whatever reason, or then I will consider digital.
Negative. We put that bad boy on layaway.
But here's another point of for me, another point of view at it. I consume enough that I simply cannot afford um, all that I want to read. So when my budget, the weekly budget for my physical copies is expired, then I'll look at the Comixology and see what's on sale, see if it's cheaper and I can swing a little bit there. If not, I also check out our local libraries, which they have both physical and digital. But like I said, it's I consume more than I can afford, so I do use the digital format. Here's the thing with digital for me, and I think there are a lot of strides that need to be made before any of the companies could even attempt to go digital only. I think personally, I think we're minimum probably 20 years away from that. I think we're a ways away. But the technology, the e-readers that are out there, your Kindle, it it needs improvement, big time improvement. But there are some potential cool features that I think down the road would be for me would maybe get me to take a plunge at some point. Not anytime soon, but okay. So if you will, and this is very common in comic books. You'll see somewhere in the comic book a reference to either previous issue or another story. See issue number 10 for what happened uh, prior to this. What if you could um, for me, this would be really cool because I love you know how I love just going down the rabbit hole.
And he gleefully goes down the rabbit hole, cackling, y'all. Y'all just don't know.
Yes. But so
I'm a little bit more cautious.
You see this reference, and if you hover over that, what if that brought up, maybe it's just a single panel from that previous issue that you just hover over it.
Oh, that's $10 more.
It probably would, but if it was here's how you incentivize it to you get to see the bare minimum to connect the dots. It brings up a page. You're like, oh, okay, that's what happened in that previous issue. Or even something that you see a character that you're not familiar with. You hover over that character and it brings up a brief little synopsis. You're like, oh, okay, I'm jumping in just halfway through this series, and I don't know who everybody is, but I just hover over so and so, and it brings up their bio, the basics of what they're all about.
Wee! All the way down the rabbit hole he goes.
Well, that's the thing.
That feature is gonna cost you at least $20 more a month. I'd rather just track down the issue or Google it, or if I'm really desperate, Wikipedia. There's got to be some truth somewhere in there.
And along my last point on digital, something I'm really kind of bummed about, and it hasn't gone away yet, but the DC Universe app, which has brought us some fantastic new shows, Titans, Doom Patrol,
Young Justice.
Young Justice brought that back. Harley, as much as I don't care for Harley, the animated show has been really good, really funny. But they all, in addition to the selection of movies and shows that they have a very extensive catalog of their comics that I have been taking advantage of. Because, like I said, I gladly spend my allotted amount of money for the week, and I still need more. So I get on DC Universe and cruise the back catalog, and it's extensive. And for that $7.99 a month, I mean, I hope they. I don't think they've. I don't think they have. They're not. It hasn't. Like I said, it hasn't shut off yet. I don't know what the future holds for that. I hope they will. I will still pay that $7.99 a month just for the catalog of comics, if that is an option. I hope it will be. But I don't think that's going to be the case, because I believe you can no longer subscribe to DC Universe.
I think they're gonna fold it into HBO.
Yeah, which
works for me. I already have it.
I've tried some of the other. I tried Marvel Unlimited, and I did their free trial, and tried it on a number of devices. I tried it on my e-reader, tried it on my iPhone, tried it on my laptop, and it's just a hot mess. It is not. It is not very easy to navigate.
There's a glitch in the rabbit hole.
Maybe I'm just not very.
You found an agent in the Matrix.
It's just I gave up on it when that free trial ended. I was like, you take it. I don't want it.
Mr. Anderson.
And I tried Comixology. They had their monthly plan too. I tried their free trial. Their navigating around on what they have is good enough, but it's not enough content for me to warrant paying that monthly compared to
because Paul is secretly Galactus, the comic book planet devourer.
That's right. How much do you think you read per day?
Per day?
Per day.
That's kind of along the lines of how much TV I watch per day. There are some days I don't touch them at all. It just depends on what's going on. Right now, we're living in unprecedented times. So my comic consumption has quadrupled on certain days.
Yeah.
Like today, I'm off of work. Next Saturday, I will not be. So next Saturday, I probably won't touch one. But whereas today, most of my day was curled up in the bed with the TV on something I've seen 15 gazillion times reading a comic book.
And that's for me.
And it's definitely going to be the same thing tomorrow.
For me, I guess I should count myself lucky, but I also have to watch it because what I do. Um, I can. There are times of the day where it's somewhat of a downtime. I'm still working, but if I get to work at the beginning of my shift, and if I get all my daily tasks, if I bust my butt and get them all done, the rest of the day is relatively easy. Or I can do it vice versa. I can take it easy the first part of the shift. Whatever I'm feeling. It's typically better to get it all done. The heavy lifting done first, so that you don't, something comes up, then you're like, well, I wasted all my day,
Yep.
and now I'm in trouble. But like I said, I'm fortunate that I can get some reading in while I'm working. So yeah, I do. Call me Galactus because I devour. I and this is part of my problem. Part of the problem where I have opened myself up to digital, um, just because I need to. I need something to read, something to occupy my time.
Well, I myself need the paper, love the paper, love the smell of an old comic book. Yes, they do have smells. They're lovely.
Yes, it is. What about like new release day when you go get whether it's delivered or you go pick it up? Do you make a mad dash to read everything you got, or do you spread it out?
I don't know if it's because I'm getting older, but there used to be the mad dash for me on Wednesdays is getting them.
Mm-hmm.
Once I have them, then I go through the sorting hat routine where it's like must read, can wait.
Mm-hmm.
I'm only reading this because I like the character, so that's going toward the bottom. And once I've sorted them all, then the must reads, the oohs, I devour. Those have to be done.
What what? Give me your top 5
Right now,
for the current what?
that's easy. I don't even have to think about this. Marauders, 1. Death Metal, 2. My mind just went blank. Hold on a second. Please hold while the next available representative. Because most of them are canceled now. All right. Marauders, Death Metal. I was going to say Justice League, but that's a can of worms for me right now. It was Justice League when Snyder had his hands on it, and even when Robert Venditti, I think that's how you say his name. Sorry if I butchered it. When he was writing it, it was still a must read. But like I said, can of worms right now. What else did I pull forward? Because I just got the books yesterday. Batman, duh. Batman's up there. He's really up there. Justice League Dark, still. My brain is saying it's a Marvel book. Immortal Hulk. Must read, go tos. And those are some of the ones that came out this week. If another X title comes out, not all of them are must reads. Cable. Excalibur. Ugh. But depending on what's out, it just depends. Those I have to read.
I'll give you mine. And I think you might change when I say my number one. I think you might change, or at least agree. Number one, actually, for me, Thor.
Yeah, Thor is up
Thor.
there.
Um, Thor has been really, really good. I hope that I don't think that one is going to get um, canceled because I feel like that is going to lead into um, an event later on
I
this
shall
year.
fall out on the floor if they cancel Thor right now.
Right. No, it's been good.
And foam at the
Can't wait
mouth.
for number 6 coming out this week. Um, so okay, number one Thor, two death metal. Um, I know it feels like death metal. A lot of people are either they really love it or they really hate it. For those who really hate it, that's fine. We all feel how we feel.
We're about to hit reviews, y'all. So yeah.
It's I've seen some things where the continuity is not 100% lined up. Some of the features are not.
Save that. Save
just sometimes you just want to have some fun. You just want something really ridiculous and crazy to take your mind off all the crazy stuff going on in the world. I just need that escape, and death metal is
not a
given
turd burger.
that. Number 3, Batman. Man, Batman is so good. It's so good right now. Number 4, I'll say any of the X titles.
Except Cable.
And
Excalibur.
I'll even keep Cable and Excalibur. And
Boo.
out of all the X titles, they have not been my favorite. But I think
That was a little too much on in that groan.
I mean, maybe I'm just a fanboy, but that's what I like. So that's whatever title it is. It's the X, any of the X titles. That's high up there for me. Number 5, I'll go with Empire. Before Empire was, when it was towards the beginning of the year when it was coming out, I started seeing what it was all about, and I was looking forward to it. I kind of went into kind of a valley when I read the Road to Empire, and then I read that. Oh goodness,
See, I skipped all that mess.
Avengers. No, you read this.
I read the Avengers
Zero.
one.
That was terrible.
That was a turd burger.
And the Fantastic Four
with an extra size
Empire Zero
turd fries.
The story itself for the Fantastic Four one was good. It was fun. It was very entertaining. It actually,
went somewhere.
It was National Lampoon's Vacation. It was just crazy,
exactly what that
slapstick
was.
fun. But it did not excite me for Empire whatsoever. And so after those two, I was like, yeah, maybe this isn't going to be so good. And after reading the first, when they did start coming out 1 and 2, I was like, this isn't bad actually. It's good.
Wait till you read 5.
Looking forward to reading that one. So that's my 5. I will say though, now you say Justice League Dark, and that has been one of my favorite ongoing series. But I actually leave that one for most often. I leave that for last, simply because to me it's kind of like a slow burn. And that one, I'm not just devouring it. I'm taking a step back. And enjoying, whether it's the artwork, or there's a little bit more dialogue in Justice League Dark. I feel like I know I've said this to you before. Justice League Dark is not for the beginner. Um, it's not. It's not like your average reader won't get it. It's not that, but I think just
You gotta know the history.
yeah, a lot of the characters you need to truly appreciate. You need to know a little bit more about them, and I've just absolutely loved it. But and that's kind of why I save it for last, typically, just because I'm going to take a little bit more time to just kick back and unwind. Um,
Well, we're gonna move out of hot topics and move on to a very controversial section. But if you have any hot topics that you would like us to cover or want to add your 2 cents with our 2 cents to come up with a nickel, there's a penny somewhere, we'll find it. It's in the couch. Then please comment and let us know. And when we become truly interactive, pop in, let us know what you think. That was my phone, that wasn't anybody popping in, sorry. So now we're going to move on to our review section. This is where you get to call us idiots. Because we like what we like and we don't like turd burgers. We like saying the word, but we don't like reading it. And our review section is 3 Bs. Buy it, borrow it, or burn it. So I'm going to very quickly spit out a comic that's been out for a minute that we both have read, and we're both going to chime in on whether you should buy it, borrow it, or burn it. And the first one is a big gun. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Batman 95, The Joker War Part 1.
Buy it.
Definitely a buy. Why is it a buy for you?
Oh.
One name. Tinian. That man can write. He can write the phone book and it'll be interesting, I promise you. I don't read Batman comic books. I'm not a Batman person. I will watch every Batman cartoon and watch every Batman movie, but reading a Batman comic book just does not happen until 2 writers, Tinian, the current one, and King. So now I have Batman comic books. I have 95 of them. So definitely a buy. I would say if you like the animated series, both of them have the spirit of the animated series in this comic book, and that's what's pulling me in every time it comes out. Detective Comics 124 or 1024.
Let's see. I think I just read this one today. Or was that 1025? 1024.
It has Two-Face in it.
Okay, yeah, I just read that one today. I'd say that one's a borrow it. It was.
That's exactly what I was going to do. Because I don't buy Detective Comics. Haven't bought it since Tinian left. Wait, correction. Let me correct that. When Hill was doing The Outsiders, I bought it and then I left. So yeah, I was going to borrow it.
Well, I got it if you want to borrow it.
New Mutants number 11.
New Mutants 11.
For me, it's a buy. Not a big fan of the art. I see where they were going with that because the art kind of matched the whole nightmare landscape and all that good stuff, but that was a little too abstract for me. Story was still good. Yeah. Art, so, but still a buy for me. You say buy too?
Buy.
Wolverine number 3.
The it's a buy for me. Um, I'm kind of torn with because the in this current volume, number one was really good, but I kind of wish they, because they did the two stories, and are they shifting around? You know, I know four it looked like they were going into the vampire
Yep.
story, so I think are they do maybe they're doing every other. I don't know. It's still early in
I
the
think the
series,
first issue presented us two stories, and they
Mhm.
went ahead and did the Flower Cartel for the first three
Mhm.
issues, and then they're gonna do the vampire thing for
Okay.
X amount of issues.
Um, it's a buy for me. It might be maybe a borderline buy slash borrow. Um, but just if nothing else, just for the kind of skipping around. I like that. Typically like that kind of linear path. But it's like with and not to sidetrack too far. Here I go down the rabbit hole. Uh,
Whee!
the when they did the rebirth Wonder Woman,
I was gonna
how
bring that
they
up.
did every other that that drove me up the wall.
Yep,
I'm sorry, that drove me up the
that
wall.
was definitely a trade weight
They
issue
yeah,
because
and
it's
I
like
I
I'm
did
tired
I
of
did
bouncing
for
back
that,
and
yeah.
forth.
Um, yeah, I'm glad I waited for the trades for those, just because yeah, I just wouldn't have wanted to. No, I don't play like that. No.
Homie, don't play that. Wolverine number 3 is a buy for me for a couple of panels. Actually, it's more than a couple of panels, but one in particular is when we get Magneto drunk and steal his helmet.
Yes, that was great.
And Magneto's like, I knew you were my friend, and passes out. And Blob is just sitting there looking at it. And he's like, just mind your business. Just mind your business. I got this. Tell him this happened. Benjamin Percy can do no wrong in my eyes right now on Wolverine and X-Force. Again, Wolverine's a character I do not at me because I don't care.
You know
But
who
Wolverine, I do not like Wolverine.
when
I'm
you
over Logan, okay? I'm over him.
when you say X Force, the character I've really been loving in X Force is actually Domino. Um, I would like to see a solo series of Domino, even if it's just 4 or 5 issues. Um, I think he's written Domino really well.
If he writes it, I'm on board.
Yeah.
And I hate limited series just about as much as I hate Logan. But if you write him like he's been written in this series, I love him. So, you know, it's a buy for me. Justice League Dark 24,
Bye.
definitely a buy.
Yeah.
Graham V picked up the reins, and usually there's a dip in quality when a really good writer leaves. You couldn't tell.
No. Well, and I think some of they kind of overlapped. So I don't know. Maybe Tinian and Ram V, maybe they worked together a bit just to kind of have a nice smooth transition, and they did. It was a nice smooth transition. And I just read 24 today, and it had I'm looking forward to 25. Gonna see what we're gonna see from Zatanna's dad. What's gonna come of that? Um, yeah, Justice League Dark is good. I think we're gonna see. Look like we're gonna see John Constantine make another appearance. He left that note for Detective Chimp. Um, so we'll see.
I just love the whole horror kind of horror movie vibe that it kind of carries.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's like really
Yes.
strong, and other times it's kind of like creeping
It
around.
is. It's a really good blend of horror, mystery, um, some really good stuff from Swamp Thing. It's just I love it. Can't get enough.
X-Men Fantastic Four issue 4.
Buy it. The first three I didn't feel like they were really going anywhere, but and I don't know that anything really significant came out of it, but with Franklin basically choosing the X-Men, are we going to see some more Franklin in any of the X titles? Um, I hope so. Um, where he fits, I don't know. Would it be something like New Mutants? Um,
Possible.
maybe even Marauders?
No,
No, you don't think so?
I do
Um,
believe Hickman will get his hands on him though.
um, will he play any role in the coming Ten of Swords? It doesn't look like it, but if he chooses the X-Men, he's got to fit in somewhere. It can't just. I mean, they could sweep it under, but seems like he has to go somewhere. Um, so, yeah, I think 1, 2, and 3 kind of not necessarily a letdown. It just didn't feel like it was really going anywhere. But 4 did at least end with a good enough ending that um, I ended up with some interest in where Franklin's going.
For the reasons you stated, I'm going to say borrow because this is definitely one of those, and this is why I don't like limited series. Unless this is a seed that's planted and it's going to come up and bite them in the behind later, which it should. But unless that happens with the whole Xavier Magneto Reed interaction at the end, it pretty much played out the way I thought it was going to play out. And this is a borrow. Actually, it's a wait for a trade,
I feel like it
a
could have,
used trade.
with what you say and kind of combining with what I say, it could have been a one shot. It should have been a one shot. Just a simple,
a giant size X-Men.
yeah, giant size X Men. Uh, that would have been a good fit right there.
There was a lot. This I'm going to slow down a little bit on this one because it kind of bothered me, especially with me going back and rereading all the old comics. The X-Men and Fantastic Four have a lot of history.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, Storm and Wolverine have served on the Fantastic Four. They know them. It was just a lot of posturing and a lot of people out of character.
Mm-hmm.
Magneto was dead on. Emma was dead on.
Mm-hmm.
But Storm, Kitty was dead on. Storm, no. I still think she's some kind of Krakoan plant that they. she, Storm has never drunk the Kool-Aid completely, y'all. She has never drunk the Kool-Aid completely. Scott has had some bad years. Nobody liked this, but so yeah, he would drink the Kool-Aid and sing whatever song he need to sing and dance to. Storm, Aurora, no.
See, and when
she would be questioning all of this stuff, like, why are we doing this and who did what, and we bringing people back from the dead now? Really?
I hear a lot of people saying, just the X-Men aren't behaving like they normally do, and I didn't. I'm kind of placing it now. A lot of them are just, it's just really weird, and it's, for some of the characters, it's kind of in unlikable ways, but for me, with Cyclops, and you probably remember. Do you remember? It was in the, I forget which issue of Powers or House, which one it was. It was towards the beginning, but I remember coming out and saying, like, man, I normally don't like Cyclops, but I love what Cyclops did right there. For me, Cyclops is traditionally kind of that character I love to hate. I recognize that he is essential to the team, but he's not one that I identify with or even like in any capacity. But from, you know, through House of X, Powers of 10, and all the other X titles, I have liked Cyclops, which is not me. And
So
so
you're
even
like
further connecting dots here of
you're
X-Men
like
not
me with
behaving.
Wolverine and Batman, just not your
Yeah,
normal cup of tea, but
right,
you're drinking it.
right. So
You
yeah,
like what you're
he's
sipping
not
on.
acting like he's supposed to. So what's what's going on here?
I'm telling y'all, Psych has had a bad patch. He killed the professor. He had a nervous breakdown. He was just off. Made for some great comics with him because I kind of like Down and Out Cyclops
Yeah.
better than I did Batman Cyclops or Batclops as I called them. But like I said, Storm drinking the Kool-Aid and
How about that
Rogue drinking the Kool-Aid and going with it.
in 11, was it X-Men 11, where she appeared on, or was that no, that's Marauders 11. She appears on the train dressed like, that was kind of a nice look for Storm. Kind of reminded me of
That was classic Storm right there. She wasn't always in costume.
That was I like
That was
that look.
Chris
I mean,
Claremont Storm.
that was a good look for her. I mean, she's got some classic looks that I just love. But that one was just that was nice. That was nice, nice visual.
Yeah, nothing on Chip Zdarsky who wrote that. It was just people out of character. It's like y'all have too much history between both of y'all to both of these teams to be acting like that. Now, like I said, Emma is gonna be Emma, and Magneto is gonna be Magneto, but everybody else way off. So it's like, okay, what is the explanation? Are these plant people? Is the real Storm in a hole with Sabretooth down here somewhere? Is Mystique gonna find her? Hellions 1 and 2. Buy it.
Yep.
This was the one we did not see coming. This is just mayhem and chaos, and I'm here for it.
Yeah. I'd like to see it be kind of a. I mean, I like the lineup they've had so far. I feel like
Throw some more bad eggs in the mix.
Right. It could it could be a rotating cast.
I would love to see Selene and Exodus.
Mm-hmm. That'd be good. Good additions there. I would like to see Sabretooth.
With Wild Child. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And what about Holocaust from the Age of Apocalypse? That was just one of those characters with just a striking appearance.
Mm-hmm.
I would love to see him and his big arm cannon blowing stuff up.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's been a good one so far. I'm looking forward to 3.
Empire X-Men 1, 2, and 3. Buy it, buy it, buy it.
Yeah. And I
buy it
because I had 2 and 3, but I was waiting for 1 to arrive. So it feels like I had been waiting forever, but I finally read those in the last couple of days, and thoroughly enjoyed. I feel like those 3 could have replaced what's been going on in the main X-Men title over the last couple of issues.
Preach on it.
It's I don't feel like the Empire X-Men series is anything significant to Empire. You honestly really don't need to read Empire to enjoy Empire X-Men. It's fun. Explodey Boy is hilarious.
When the
Um,
S word are we going to get more of the F word horticulture? What the
yes.
F word do we have to D word do to get more F word horticulture?
Yes.
Bring them old women on. I'm here
Yeah.
for them.
Yeah. That they have have been just they're
I
kind
am
of moving
here
that.
for them.
They're perfect for that just that short little series. They kind of move it along, um, which I think it's Magic, uh,
Archangel,
Archangel,
M,
um,
Madrox,
yeah,
Explodey Boy.
Exploding. uh, Madrox he's had some good comedic moments in it, but the rest of the actual X-Men in the Empire X-Men have been kind of background. Um, it's mainly been the Katati, the Genosha zombies, and the horticulture. Plants versus zombies versus versus old ladies. Uh,
D word. Well, since you already brought it up, X Men number 10 with Vulcan.
at the end of the day, buy it, but it's very close to borrow it for me. Very
I'm
close.
leaning. I agree with you on that. Buy it. Don't kill yourself trying to read it.
Mm-hmm.
Unless they did their homework and did a lot of continuity research, because I was that guy that bought the Nova Guardians of the Galaxy back in the early 2000s or
Mm-hmm.
mid 2000s,
Mm-hmm.
where they did mention Vulcan and he was in a major storyline, War Kings, and he just went poofy after that. So this kind of picks that thread up and runs with it. That was very cool to see.
Mm-hmm.
It also explains why he's back, how he's back, and it actually makes sense. Where some of these other resurrections and people coming back, it's like, why?
Mm-hmm.
I still say they're plant people. But yeah, buy it because you have all the other issues of X-Men, and it might come back around again later. This is Hickman.
Mm-hmm.
2, 3, 4, 5 years later, that issue is going to be major league important. Empire Avengers 1 and 2.
Borrow it.
Exactly. For me, it's a
Yeah.
buy, and I'm going to tell you why. If you are a fan of classic old school Avengers, like Black Knight, Scarlet Witch, Vision, who else is in there? Wonder Man, Mockingbird, those are 80s Avengers.
Yeah.
That's the freaking West Coast Avengers.
Yeah.
Kazar, Shanna the She-Devil. They even have the son grow up, and I don't know if he's a teenager or in his early 20s. That would make Kazar very old, but him Tarzan, who knows? But if you're a fan of those classic Avengers that don't always get the shine, this is the book for you.
See, and that actually that kind of connects me to another tie-in, which I don't believe you've read, but I actually prefer it over the Avengers time, the Captain America. Um, like the X-Men, it's nothing significant to you could read the Captain America tie-in without reading any of Empire and not have lost or gained anything, but it's kind of a throwback, and they do his team makes reference to like we're the new Howland Commandos, so throwback to something previous that is maybe more my kind of style. I'll take the Captain America tie-in over the Avengers tie-in.
So it's all according to your comic book palette.
Mm-hmm.
Here we go. Whoo, Justice League 50.
Burn it, burn it.
First of all, let me go on record by saying I understand as a writer, you're trying to come up with some new concept, new twist, new spin on what to do with these powerful Justice League characters because you're dealing with the A team. I get it. Sometimes you don't always stick the landing, but and the guy that did this did an awesome X Force volume 257 from the all new, all different. His run on X Force then was incredible. I did not get a chance to read his Legion, but I heard it was incredible. So when I heard he was taking over these issues of Justice League, I was amped up for it.
Yeah.
Maybe I shouldn't have been because this was not how I want to spend issue 50 of the Justice League.
Let me, I don't want to go on too much of a rant, but so yeah, 50 definitely burn it for me. I will say it was not as bad as 48 and 49. It didn't end as like I thought it was going to end because just 48 and 49 just straight up pissed me off.
Do tell.
They're just terrible.
Hold on.
And you,
hold on, press pause. First of all, we really didn't do an origin story or anything. We're gonna save that for later. Right now, we're just spitting it out. But usually I'm the more emotional, aggressive one, but I'm very passive on this one. And Paul, who's normally very even keel and just goes on down the rabbit hole with the rest of everything else. Anyway,
yeah.
Now that I set you up, go.
Yeah, no. 48 and 49. I felt like I was being preached at, not just preached at. And,
by Wonder Woman.
Yeah,
of all
by
people.
Wonder Woman. And I'm not anti Wonder Woman by any measure. There are some Wonder Woman stories that I absolutely love. I love the character, great character. But this it was so just ugh. And it goes back to we want an escape. I'm looking in my comics. I'm looking not looking for somebody's political or religious beliefs. All those things are frequent topics in comics and they should be. But I just don't need to be preached at. I'm in it to be entertained and to get my mind off of the craziness out in the world. And the 15 or so minutes I spent on 48 and 49, this time I'll never get back. I feel like Mr. Spurrier owes me some time, my life back.
Well, I tell you what, go back and read his X-Force and Legion stuff, and you will get your money's worth. But here, again, it's issue 50 of the Justice League. Scott Snyder had his hands all over it. That's me saying earlier, Death Metal should have been Justice League issues. We could have a regular cover, we can have the foil cover, we can have holograms, we have included cards, whatever you want to do. But that Death Metal limited series should have been Justice League, and we should have had the end of Death Metal as Justice League 15. That's how you go out with a bang. And that's an anniversary issue that I would have spent $13 on. That cover could have lit up, transformed, flew me to work, back to work, microwave my lunch, and it could have been just one page with Batman saying "Boo to Jaro," scaring him. I don't care.
Now I will say, after going on and on about that, 48, 49, and 50, I'm not actually going to burn those. I'm keeping those in my collection. Because
that's going to be a hole.
I'm a collector. Even though I could not stand those,
I will probably never read them again.
Right. I will. Maybe I need to make a mark of that somewhere. A yellow sticky slapped that on all three of those. Do not read again. Now I don't think I'll have. It's burned into my memory that
once was enough.
Right.
Like I said, go back and read his X-Force volume from all new, all different Marvel Now, whatever it was called.
It reminds me.
That was awesome. This was not.
when we talk about the Justice League, with 48, 49, and 50, they get involved in something that they at the end of the day they have kind of no business uh, being part of.
And we've seen that story
And
before.
it kind of reminds me of a story that I actually really do. Well, it wasn't one, linear story, but it was a series. I forget what issues they were, but it was the JLA run that started in the late 90s. Towards the end of that run, they had a couple of issues where I forget the name. That's not on the top of my head or anything, but where they failed. And those were really good issues.
I think I know what you're talking about. Is 101 to 1. It had
Mhm.
a spotlight on each one of
Right.
them,
Yeah.
and they all just sucked.
Yeah. And that was really
101 to
really
106,
good.
something like that.
Hmm.
Because the Crime Syndicate was after that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Photographic memory, and I'm nerdy. Sue me.
Um, but yeah, those were some really good um, Justice League issues that I like. Kind of not this is similar in a way, just where you know um, it they don't always succeed.
And that one did not. Fantastic Four issue 22. Dan Slott is killing it on Fantastic Four. He
Yeah.
gets it.
Yeah, that's a buy it for me. And
It kind of answers your Franklin question too.
yeah. And where did I jump in on Fantastic Four? This kind of falls into that category of where I'm kind of spreading my wings, opening my.
You must go back to issue 1
Yeah,
and read up.
I feel like I jumped in at 21, so I've read 21 and 22 in this current volume of Fantastic Four, and I do just reading 21 and 22. It does make me want to go back and start at 1, which is I'm glad I did because I normally don't gravitate towards the Fantastic Four.
Did you read them in the 80s when John Byrne was writing and drawing them?
Not regularly. In the 80s, late 80s, early 90s, X-Men and Batman were that was my thing primarily. Um, I that young, I did not have. I probably spent maybe 10 bucks a week, something like that.
You had $10?
If that. Hey, I mean,
Plotting and
let's see,
scheming.
when did I get my first paper? I must have been 9 or 10. I got my first paper out. Got about, I want to say the first one I got. I think the first one I had. I think I got my first. It was like $32 per month. I want something like that. Uh, nothing. But I mean, to me back when I first got it, I mean, $32. Oh my!
That was a lot of money back in the day, y'all. Now it's just like you go to a drive-through and get gas, you hang that up.
Yeah.
But $32 in the 80s, you were rich. Um, since we on the subject of following, Young Justice 17. I'm gonna go ahead and say borrow it.
I'm gonna say burn it.
I knew it.
I'll keep it short so you can give a better review of it. And this is another one that is opening up my uh, my options, expanding my my reading list, and yeah, kind of a bummer. We'll just lump it in for me. The Bendis books that I don't care for right now because. Whew, um, uh, you know, Obviously, a bit of a standalone issue where the focus was a young lady and her food truck being the becoming the official Young Justice food truck, which
I love it.
go, go her. I mean, that's great. I mean, if I was running a food truck and they, a super team, hey, we are drafting you. We need you to do your part, and I'd be like, heck yeah. Be here every day cooking you whatever you want.
Y'all don't understand. Paul does not throw shade. I'm the shady one. Paul doesn't throw shade, so this had to be pretty horrible for him to be
Yeah.
shading like that. The Young Justice food truck, I died when he told me that the other day.
I'm just
I was
saying,
done.
stepping in on that issue, I now have no desire whatsoever to go back and read any other of the current volume of Young Justice, which is ending soon anyway.
I say borrow it because we're on issue 17 and we haven't gotten anywhere from issue 1. We're still talking about the same issues that have been plaguing this series.
Where are we going to get our food?
From the Young Justice food truck. They have Taco Tuesday, y'all. Maybe Drake could do a little. Nah, that was shady. I was about to go there. I pulled back. But it's what's very frustrating about this series. I was very excited to have Young Justice back because this was essentially the Teen Titans plus a couple of new faces. And since Teen Titans was going off, the regular Teen Titans series was going off doing their own thing, Young Justice was filling that void. And Connor was back as Superboy, and Robin Tim Drake was there, and then he called himself Drake and changed his costume, and I don't understand why. And then there was this whole layover in Gym World, and it was like the interesting thing about all of that was they were talking about what another Titan series was talking about. Somebody messed up the multiverse, and there's this big secret, and we need to figure it out. But just like that Titan series, stuff changed with editorial, I'm assuming, and now we just have 17 issues of Justice League Food Truck and Gym World and alternate universes and Connor being a wimp and Warlord was in there somewhere, drawn horribly, and I have no idea. And Naomi pops up in the Wonder Twins, and then all of a sudden we have all these other teen superheroes, and still don't know what's happening with this book. So if you know somebody that have all 17 issues, borrow it from them so you can read it and comment below and let us know if you figured this out. It's still better than Legion. Legion is Dark Knights, Death Metal, Legends of the Dark Knight, #1.
Buy it if you can get your hands on it.
Robin King.
Um,
Buy it for Robin King.
Yes. And the other I enjoyed all the little stories in there. The Bat T-Rex, the Bat Monster Truck.
The Bat Monster Truck.
Just over the top. Just fun. Just fun. Nothing. Well, let's touch on Robin King. Oh my goodness, that. Wow.
I still say it would have been better if it was somebody else other than Bruce Wayne. If that would have been Dick Grayson and Bruce Wayne filling the role as Alfred, that would rock.
That would have been even crazier than it already was. I mean, yeah, if it was Dick Grayson, Bruce would have just been there too, and he would have, when he was taking out Alfred, he would have taken out Bruce, and it would have been same story. But yeah, that version of Bruce, oh wow, he was he's terrible, just an absolute monster.
Return to meeting. Aha, we're back. Wi-Fi, y'all. Wi-Fi.
Can make some edits here. um, let's see. Lost my train of thought. Blah blah blah. Maybe we come back tomorrow to give a.
Yeah, because we got one last one.
Yeah.
Giant size X-Men Phantom X.
Okay.
Buy
Yeah,
multiple copies and give it to all your friends.
That's definitely a buy. I've missed that character, and I just
Agreed.
went that trade I bought the other day at the sale. The new X-Men Volume 3 was his first appearance, and yeah, that's a classic. I mean, I love the majority of the new X-Men Grant Morrison run, but that the Phantom X was definitely really really good. And so yeah, the giant size Phantom X, yeah, definitely that was really really good.
It basically just filled in all the holes in the story, except for one. How, and I know I'm asking for too much by bringing this out here, but I know there's many of you just like me that's like scratching your head going, how do we get from the last volume of Astonishing X-Men where Charles was in Phantom X's body to Charles being in his own body with a fishbowl cerebral helmet on his head and Phantom X running around again? I know he probably grew him in a pod. Just like, hey, I'm gonna hook you back up or something, but I was kind of hoping it would at least give us a little bit. I wasn't expecting all, but just a little bit of how that came to be.
Yeah. Well, maybe there's more to. I can't imagine this is the only thing we're going to see of Phantom X.
I hope
just
not.
In giant size. There's.
Why isn't he in X-Force?
Maybe,
which is another hot topic for a later episode. Who came up with these teams? Because there's some people that are not on the right squad here.
You know, maybe that's a panel for another day. We'll do a fantasy X-Men draft for what we'd like to see. We'll do
most definitely. Because y'all know Marauder should have Kurt, Rogue, and Gambit.
Yeah.
Y'all know this. Yes, I'm bent out of shape about it too. Especially since Rogue and Gambit are not being written well in Excalibur. Get their butts out of there. Marauder should be Extreme X-Men Part 2.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree.
And if y'all hadn't read Extreme X-Men, that's your homework assignment for next week.
Extreme X-Men, so good.
Beware, the art gets kind of funky in the 30s, but stick with it. Just read the words. It's Claremont, so expect a lot of words.
And speaking of classic Storm looks, I mean, there's so many good Extreme X-Men Storm covers. Oh God, so good.
Yeah. So that does it for our first go round. We hope you enjoyed the show and listen to our crazy rantings. We try to run through some hot topics again. Once we get fully up and operational, there's going to be a double size fall hologram
embossed
lenticle, whatever they call it, lenticular polybag cover in the latest issue of Wizard magazine. Yeah, I went that far back. OG here in his house. Nobody says his house anymore. Dating myself. I don't care. But this is our first episode, y'all. Yay. Collector's edition. Get with it. Get on it. We here. And Perch, hit us up. We need a number 3. We're looking at you, kid. But this is Chris.
This is Paul.
And we out. See y'all
Take it easy.
in the comic book store.